Hello and welcome to this Ranger 4 webcast. Today's webcast will look at how to get DevOps certified. The webcast will be brought to you by Helen Bill, Head of DevOps at Ranger 4. For now, I'll pass you over to Helen Bill.
Thanks, Tej, and hello, everybody. As Tej said, my name is Helen Beale. I'm the Head of DevOps here at Range 4, and today our webcast is about how to get DevOps certified. So there's kind of a few things I wanted to cover as we go through the webcast today. So we'll have a little look at what DevOps is all about and why people want to get certified on DevOps, and then we'll talk about the DevOps Institute and our relationship at Range 4 with the Institute. And then we'll talk about the course itself and what's included in that, and then we'll describe the certification process that candidates or learners go through when they go through this course. Have a little chat about who the course is actually for, and then I'll give you some details on how to actually book the course. So first of all, you're all on this call, so you're probably quite interested in DevOps. You've probably got quite a different scale of knowledge about it, and maybe some of you are doing it today or are environments that are quite DevOpsy, or maybe some of you are just coming across it now. But this is a Google Trends analysis from earlier on today on the keyword search term DevOps, and you can see that interest in the term has rocketed over the last 3 years or so. So we used to spend quite a lot of time with customers and prospects talking about DevOps and trying to define what DevOps is, but everyone seems to have a different opinion about it, and everyone has a slightly different view on it, and it's quite fluid, and sometimes people think it's about culture, and sometimes people are a bit more focused on automation. So we found it a little bit more useful actually to talk about what's different about DevOps and try and think about why DevOps has such currency in today's market, why we see such a huge uptick like we just saw in the graph on the previous page. So there's really 3 things that we think that make DevOps different and why it's such a standout term at the moment. And the first is really about where the IT industry has evolved to at the current point in time. So there's really 2 trends here. One is around the increasing critical and strategic importance around IT, and specifically around web applications and digitization. And the other part of this is that IT infrastructures have evolved over the last few decades to be quite complex. We've done things like SOA, we've done lots of integrations, we've built lots of different systems on lots of different platforms, and we've built some quite complex and fragile infrastructures. So on one side we've got developers being asked by business to put through lots of change to keep their business competitive and innovate, and on the other side we've got some people that are quite risk averse and don't really want to put change into those systems because they're quite fragile and easily broken, which has really resulted in a kind of conflict between these 2 groups, so the development teams and the operations teams. We hear things like operations complaining that developers are asking for access to production environments that they're very uncomfortable giving them that control upon. We hear developers complaining that it takes a very long time for operations to provide them environments to do their work on. We hear things like it's very difficult to make production-like testing environments. We talk to people about the concepts of release weekends and that they're doing, they're having war rooms. They might even have an assigned labelled space as a war room. So lots of kind of high pressure conflict type things going on, and DevOps really is here to try and resolve that pain. So that's the first thing we think that's different about DevOps, and that's really the state of the market today. The second bit is around Agile and ITIL. So Agile has been around for a while now, as has ITIL. DevOps in some ways is the ops recognition of Agile, so it's making ops ready to deliver and release iteratively in the way that the development teams have already learned how to develop iteratively. There's quite a lot of debate in the market about the relationship between DevOps and ITIL and whether they're mutually exclusive, because some people sometimes think that DevOps is all about doing things really fast and therefore it must be a bit kind of fly by the seat of your pants, a bit like how sometimes people look at Agile. But actually we're not of that opinion at all at Range 4. We think DevOps and ITIL are very closely related. They have a lot in common. In fact, DevOps is very supportive of ITIL in terms of making processes very consistent and predictable and repeatable, and using automation to do that, and using automation to give them controls and compliance and auditability. And then really the third thing that we think makes DevOps different is around the technologies that have become available over the last 3 to 5 years. So tools have become available that enable us to do things around automated orchestration and release that we've never been able to do before. They allow us to virtualize services in a way that we can create production-like test environments very quickly. There are tools for monitoring that enable us to monitor at a business transaction level in a way that we've never been able to do before, which enable us to do lots of things around failing smart and measuring feature value and lots of these very DevOps concepts. So that's a kind of a view on why DevOps is getting so much attention and why we're seeing so much interest in this particular course. So let's talk about where this course has come from. So the DevOps Institute was founded by Alan Schimmel, who's the founder of DevOps.com, and Jane Grohl, who is the owner of the ITSM Academy. And together, along with a number of industry specialists and a board of regents, you can see a picture of their webpage here. You can see on the top left, that's a picture of Gene Kim, who many of you will have read his book, The Phoenix Project, which is the sort of seminal novel about DevOps. So the DevOps Institute was founded, and together they have, along with the Board of Regents, we've developed this course, which is the DevOps Foundation course. So Ranger 4 are a registered education provider with DevOps Institute, so we are authorised to deliver this course in the UK and Europe and have access to all these certification systems that are required to get the students through and fully certified. So a bit more about the course itself. It is a 16-hour course, so that tends to mean it's a 2-day course. It can be delivered on your customer site or on your site. It can be delivered on one of our sites in the UK, or we can deliver it remotely or a combination thereof. So you might want the first day remotely and then coming into classroom for the second day, for example. We do custom, so that means we do one training course for one specific customer. Or we do public schedules, so they're open to anybody, and sometimes we just get individuals coming along, and then sometimes we get groups of people from a multitude of customers coming along to those public schedules. The cost of the course is £1,000 per student, and that's for the whole course, so that's for both days, and that also includes the courseware and the certification itself. And the course can be run for up to 20 students, so it starts making commercial sense at around 4 students, and the most people that the trainers can cope with in the room at any one time is 20. If you have more than 20 people you want to put through this course, we just run the course multiple times. So this is the at-the-glance agenda, so you can get a view here on kind of what we're doing on day 1 and day 2, so some introductions and then some high-level thinking around what DevOps is and why it's been driven and the kind of thing we just covered a minute ago and the sort of basic principles around it. Then we look at DevOps and some other frameworks working together and do some deeper dive on the DevOps culture. And then the second day is some organisational considerations and looking at practices, and then in the afternoon looking a bit more at tooling and automation. So that's the at-a-glance agenda. You can download the full course outline at our website at www.ranger4.com. I just wanted to briefly show you how to find it. So on our website here, you can go to DevOps training, and then to the DevOps Foundation course outline page, which is here. And then if you just scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a link here, which allows you to download the full course outline here. So again, it summarises what we've just discussed. And then you get into the at-a-glance bit that we've just looked at, and then into the full meat of the programme here. So again, you've got this introduction, then we're looking at DevOps from both the business and IT perspectives, talk a bit about stereotypes, you know, what people think developers are like, and what people think developers think, and likewise for the ops people. We look at the stakeholders and goals and values around DevOps, so why people invest in DevOps and what benefits they're expecting to realise from doing DevOps. Give you some real-world examples of our customers that are doing DevOps today and the benefits that they've managed to achieve. All of you that are quite familiar with DevOps will know that measurement or metrics is a really, really core part of what we do. So we do spend quite a lot of time in the training talking about the kind of metrics and measurements that you would expect to be involved with as part of a DevOps program, and then how to demonstrate results to your team and how to showcase your success. And then we'll cover the 3 ways. Again, those of you that have heard of or have read the Phoenix Project will be very familiar with the 3 ways and Eric. And then we'll talk about some DevOps patterns, and then, as I said in the intro, we'll also have a closer look at the relationship between DevOps and some of these other IT methodologies like ITSM and ITIL and Agile. So then we'll do some cultural pieces, and then on day 2 we come back to the organisation and looking at how people organise themselves in a DevOps manner, so getting away from siloed DevOps teams and siloed IT departments as a whole, and how people can reorganise themselves around products, for example, which is a very DevOps approach. Then we'll look at the core competencies of collaboration and communication, which is a very big part of what we promote as part of the DevOps cultural environment. And then we'll have a look at what I like to call the continuouses, so continuous integration and delivery and deployment. And then talk about Kanban and the theory of constraints as well, which again you'll be very familiar with if you have read the Phoenix Project. And then we'll look at the Deming cycle and improvement kata, look at failure and process improvement. And then finally, on that second day, as I said, we're going to go a bit deeper into the tool categories and start looking at automation practices and tool chains. So you can sit the exam as a learner at the end of that second day if you like, but we normally recommend that you take a couple of days to sort of digest what you've learned over those 2 days. It is quite an intense course. It's not a technical course. It is a kind of theoretical and business-led course. So when you're ready to sit the exam, it's online and it's proctored, so that means that your webcam on your machine will need to be on wherever you are in the world, and you'll need to show the person on the other end of the webcam your desk and your surrounding area, and then you will be monitored as you sit the exam. It is an online exam, it's multiple choice, so there's 40 questions, and you've got 60 minutes, so 1 hour to complete those 40 questions, and it requires a 65% pass mark. And once you have successfully passed that exam, we will send you your certificate. So in terms of who this course is for, quite a wide variety of people actually, but I think it's important to note that it is a DevOps foundation course. So it's not designed for somebody, for example, that's like a Scrum Master and wants to become a DevOps Master and sell themselves as a DevOps Master. That's really not what this course is about. It's about people that wanting to get a feel for DevOps. They might be new to DevOps, or they might have some existing DevOps knowledge or skill, and they want that checked and recognised and have that on their C or in their PDP, their personal development plan, or whatever it is. A lot of our customers like to do it as part of a DevOps transformation project and have a group of people that they can be then sure are all at a similar level of understanding, and they've spent those 2 days together. And as I said earlier, it's not a technical course. There's no sort of hands-on with any tools or anything in this course. So it's for technical and business people. And as you'll probably have heard in the marketplace, some people chucking around terms like biz DevOps. And the importance of business to a DevOps project cannot be overestimated. This is all about business. So actually, the more business people you can get to understand what we're trying to do here in terms of improving the rates that we can put software capabilities to use in the market is really useful. And I think the other thing to note here is that this isn't just for system admins, for example. This is for the CIO as well. That DevOps is a very kind of grassroots-driven movement. It started as a Twitter hashtag. In all the organisations we talk to, there's kind of 2 areas of interest. So one is from the people on the ground that are doing all the work, that are having great ideas about how to do that work better. And then there's the kind of the higher level in the traditional hierarchy, people that are making strategic decisions and holding the budgets, that are also thinking about this. So it's a whole span of people that will benefit from this course. So there's a couple of ways to book the course. As I mentioned earlier, we do both custom versions of this course, so we come onto your site and deliver it with you in your buildings with your people, or we do public schedule, so you can send 1 or more people along to the public schedule course. The next public schedule is in August on the 6th and 7th in London, and you can book that through our events page. There's a link to that there, and we will email you a link to that page and the booking page after this call. You can also email us at devopstraining@ranger4.com if you've got an interest in us coming and delivering a custom course in your own environment. It's worth noting that there's no difference between the course in those the two environments, so the public schedule or the custom environment. It's the same trainers, same course, it's the same courseware. The only thing that's slightly different is obviously you won't be exclusively just with your colleagues if you come to public schedule, so you might feel you don't want to discuss some things in front of the group that you might think are commercially sensitive to your organisation. So that's it. That's the introduction to Ranger 4's DevOps Foundation course that's brought to you with the DevOps Institute. If you want any more details, please visit our website. Thanks very much for your time this afternoon.